Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Randy back with another fragrance video. And today I'm about to hit you with a different type of video, and that is to cover a niche fragrance for the first time. So if you know anything about my channel, it is mostly designer fragrances, and there is a reason for that. So over the last year and a half is when I started collecting, and there is nowhere within at least an hour to drive to be able to even test a niche fragrance. I did get a few from Micro Perfumes, but even then, it's a little bit too expensive on there to be able to just try something out in these little teeny decants. So this weekend, my wife and I decided to make a trip out to Nordstrom, which is again about an hour and 15 minutes away, to finally go out. So over the last 3-4 years, as I've had fragrances, I've had 3 niche. Back then I didn't even know they were called niche, but I had Parfums de Marly Pegasus, Parfums de Marly Herod, and I had Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, 2 of which are really good for the winter and fall, and 1 of which is really good all year round. But they were all pretty small bottles, the 50 mils, and they're all gone at this point. So I wanted to get my next niche fragrance, and I was searching for Parfums de Marly. So I'm gonna put a video up here on the screen. You can see this is a section in Nordstrom which is separated from all the rest of the fragrances there, and it is just for Parfums de Marly. In the top left, you'll see Percival. In the middle, you see Layton. There's Herod, Layton Exclusive. There's a Greenlee, a bunch of different ones. So when I first walked into that store, into Nordstrom, again, this is the first time I've ever been there for fragrances itself. They had a little bowl full of these. They were empty decants, and it was right next to a Creed Aventus bottle. So I just grabbed them. They had the lids, they had the bottles, so I grabbed them and I went and I tested all of the Parfums de Marly's and the Aventus that I haven't smelled before. And so I sprayed, and I ended up decanting myself out about 15 of these little guys. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to be reviewing Parfums de Marly Layton, and Parfums de Marly Percival. So Parfums de Marly Layton is the one I'm going to be covering first. And so this note breakdown is top notes are apple, lavender, mandarin orange, and bergamot. The mid notes are geranium, violet, and jasmine. And the base notes are vanilla, cardamom, sandalwood, pepper, patchouli, and gaiac wood. So this fragrance is absolutely unreal. I've heard a lot of good stuff about this, but I've also heard a lot of bad stuff. So that's why I wanted to take my wife out and go and try these out in person. I just sprayed it on this wrist prior to the video. It's a really nice fucking fragrance. So as soon as I put this fragrance on, Parfums de Marly Layton, I was absolutely blown away. Whenever you smell this right off the bat, you get this fresh, really crisp apple that I have never smelled, and I have smelled a lot of different apple type fragrances, especially in the opening like Hugo Boss and whatnot. And this apple is like if you took a apple, cut it in half, and just smelled it, it's exactly what you get. It's this sweet, it's this tart, but also really nice, crisp apple that you get. And it mixes with 2 other things, a really nice fresh vanilla and then some citruses. But real soon after this opening, even though it is a really nice, lovely apple, I'm actually glad that it does this. The apple starts to dissipate after about 10 to 15 minutes, if that. And the citruses are gone almost immediately as well. And then you're left with this fucking amazing vanilla. Excuse my language, but man, this vanilla is so fresh. It is. I've smelled Spice Bomb, I've smelled Spice Bomb Extreme, I've smelled Armani Code Absolute. The vanilla in this is second to none. As soon as that apple dies down, and as soon as the citrus notes from the mandarin orange and the bergamot die down, all of a sudden you're left with this vanilla that just really just hits your nose. It is very sweet, it's creamy, it's powdery, it's everything you can think of, and it is one of the most beautiful fragrances. As soon as I put this fragrance on and it dried down, my wife looked at me like, that's probably the best fragrance I've ever smelled. And she smelled all of my 100 and some fragrances. This, and I agree, I don't understand how I've never smelled this before, but if there was a compliment pulling contest for fragrances for men, this would win. It is that good of a fragrance. It literally is second to none as far as the dry down is concerned, and even the opening is absolutely wonderful. So this is definitely going to be the one that I pick up for sure. It has, as soon as it dries down, again, this is a first impression, but as soon as it dries down and gets all the way to the base, you do get some of this pepper coming in to give it some of that spiciness. And then you also get some cardamom and sandalwood to give it this little bit of spicy, sweet freshness as well. But for the most part, what you're getting after about 30 minutes for the rest of the fragrance, at least until now, is you get a really, really, really nice vanilla. The next fragrance I wanted to talk about here is from the Parfums de Marly line as well. It's Parfums de Marly Percival. And so this is a fragrance that as soon as I sprayed it on yesterday, I knew there was some resemblance to something else I've tried, at least within the last week. And so I went on Fragrantica when I was at the mall and I found out exactly what it was. I'll show you on the screen here. And so I know because I got this tester from Macy's whenever I bought my bottle last week, and it's Mont Blanc Legend Eau de Toilette. So I've been wearing that for about 4 days last week, and when I sprayed on Percival, I knew exactly that it smelled very similar to something I was wearing, and it is that. So if you don't know anything about Parfums de Marly, I found out this week that really if you are somebody that's looking into getting into niche, but you don't want to spend that kind of money and you kind of want something that's still mass appealing and a little bit designer inspired, I would start with Parfums de Marly. They are a great introduction to niche brand. They are very mass appealing. They're very designer inspired. So with Percival, the note breakdown here is lavender, mandarin orange, bergamot, and geranium. The mid notes are hedoin, jasmine, coriander, violet, and cinnamon. The base notes are ambroxan, balsam fir, amberwood, musk, and clearwood. So this fragrance, right off the bat, you get two things. You get a flush of citruses, and from the orange and the bergamot, and then you get a overhaul of ambroxan. I'm one that really doesn't like ambroxan very much, and to my surprise, I actually do like this fragrance. Same with Mont Blanc Legend. So you get a mixture of it's a fresh citrus mixed with this fresh ambroxan, and then as it dries down, or through the mid, you get a little touch of floral, but really in the dry down, the citruses start to dissipate, the ambroxan starts to level out, and you get hit with some musk and some woods notes. And that is the base of the scent. I don't really see much else in this fragrance that I need to explain. It is a citrusy ambroxany opening, touch of floral in the mid. When you get to the base and for the rest of the lifetime of the scent, you have that ambroxan mixed with some woods notes and some musk. And that is what you get from this. But with that being said, of these two, of the Parfums de Marly LAYTON and Parfums de Marly Percival, I would definitely get LAYTON. That's why I'm going into niche, is that I want to get something that is a little bit more unique, and LAYTON does that for me. Probably the best compliment pulling fragrance I have tried as a first impression ever. And I have a lot of really good fragrances that I love. But as far as the opening into the dry down for compliment pulls, this is a fantastic fragrance. If you were to shell out the money and you want to break into niche, Parfums de Marly LAYTON is the way to go. Parfums de Marly Percival, I don't know. I think I would get it if it was dropped down to maybe 150. That's where I would go for that price point. But if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you like this type of content, niche fragrances, please let me know in the comments and I will continue to do so. But if not, then I'll see you on the next one.